There is a crisis in climate science currently. Since Russia invaded Ukraine, Western nations and Russia are not sharing data with each other anymore, and that will impact IPCC reports. It will impact what we know about what's happening with the climate and how quickly, right at the time where we're experiencing every year record-shattering global temperatures. I want to dig into something called the Arctic paradox. As this region becomes more vulnerable due to climate change, it's actually melting and opening up to resource extraction and shipping and global competition. Since Sweden and Finland joined NATO, the Scandinavian countries have become this much more militarized Arctic front out of fear that Russia, right across the Kola Peninsula, will possibly invade. And so there's these growing tensions that are heating up, with the environment heating up as well. And so I will be there on the ground in Tromsø. Tromsø is the seat of the Arctic Council, and this is an 8-state and 6 indigenous organizations forum. In 2022, the Arctic Council was suspended, and that was after Russia invaded Ukraine. They've resumed, and now Norway has the chairship, but they resumed last year, and it's not really clear what they're doing, if they're meeting, and what's going to happen next, even still. And that's because they're afraid of this agreement, which was so fragile but also vital, will completely fall apart. So they're willing to say now, we will resume, but extremely slowly. And they're headquartered in Tromsø, this 78,000 person city where I'll be living. And so I expect to be showing up there, talking to people, and trying to document as it's happening, this little microcosm of circumpolar peace. What are they going to do? How are they going to move forward? At the same time, living as a local, talking to scientists. The Arctic University is right there. You have to fly from Tromsø to get to Svalbard, this archipelago that is halfway between Norway and the North Pole, and that also happens to be the fastest changing region of the Arctic. The Arctic is a place that is relevant to everybody, but not a lot of people get to go there. And so my goal is to bring the Arctic to the United States and to the world really, and capture it as best I can through long-form narrative, which is my background, as well as audio and visuals. I see it as an opportunity and a responsibility, because the Arctic may not be present in our minds all the time, but if you can find a way to capture these micro stories and bring those narratives to the broader public, it gives us something to imagine when we hear these doomsday reports, the ice is melting. One thing I really appreciated about the application process was that you first file a very short kind of pitch, and then you actually hear back from ICWA. If they find it interesting, you'll work with the executive director and kind of maybe reform the pitch. And so that way, you're not doing this extremely long, in-depth proposal from the get-go. There's this first stage. And that actually helped me work through the ideas that I wanted to pursue and really think about, is this something that is worthy of 2 years and 2 years of my life and my deep attention and, to completely move to another environment. And so that was really, really helpful for me to kind of dig deep and think about what this project could possibly be.